Hello, everybody, and welcome to Church at Home with Rachel for Friday, the 10th of January. Today is a Feel Good Friday. I'm not sure how much feel good it's going to be. I feel good. It's a good day, but it's been sort of one of those weeks. First week back in a new year after 2 weeks of the office being closed, and it's just been kind of hectic and chaotic. So I haven't got any feel good funny stories, but I'm going to share with you a reflection from Bear Grylls' Soul Fuel, called The Invisible Presence. It's hard to believe in something we cannot see, and to believe in a God of love is a big statement, unless the evidence is beyond compelling. Like the wind and electricity, just because we can't see God, it doesn't mean he doesn't exist. And like the wind and electricity, when we see the effects of God on human lives, it can knock us clean off our feet. Jesus described this as the invisible moving the visible. John 3, verses 5 to 6 from the Message. God makes a clear promise to everyone who chooses to trust him. If we believe, we'll experience the state of resting. Hebrews 4, chapter 4, verse 3 from the Message. It's a great place to be, that state of resting. But like many of God's gifts, it's internal. We don't physically see it. It's deep within us that God restores, renews, and revives. God promises that his presence won't always be invisible. He says that there's a day coming when the mountains will drip new wine and the hills will flow with milk. All the ravines of Judah will run with water. A fountain will flow out of the Lord's house. Joel chapter 3, verse 18. That time will be amazing. No pain, no fear, no evil, nor illness. Heaven will be full of love and goodness and plenty of laughter. Until then, let's stand tall and believe. Know his invisible presence with you. Trust God and allow your soul and spirit to be refreshed by him today as you go about your business. That's faith. I've been thinking a lot lately about that invisibleness because couple of things. Rob, of course, as you know, is getting ready to release for the military for medical reasons, and his whole world will be different. And I've spent the last 20 years, give or take, dealing with him being gone a lot. His love for me being delivered from a ship doing hurricane ops down at Dominica, or his love for me being invisible across the ocean from the Indian Ocean when he was an Op Artemis during the Canada's participation in the war in Afghanistan. There are so many times in our relationship when he has been distant from me, and now there's been so many times when I've been distant from him, that I have come to realize in new ways that I didn't when I was young. Maybe it's the gray hair, the old age, I don't know, experience. But I'm beginning to recognize that the need I have for things to be absolutely tangible, like being able to touch them, like my microphone, or to be able to pick up my book, for those things, it's still my gold standard. Okay, I'll be honest with you. My gold standard about everything, including my faith in God, is I want to touch it. I want to see it. I want to hear it. I want it to be audible. I want to be able to see it and read it. I want to be able to reach out and touch it, because then I can, all of the things that make me who I am, my five senses, those are the things that help me then integrate that and make me think, okay, yeah, that's real. I don't have to be able to see my microphone if I can reach out and touch it and say, yeah, there, it's right there. I don't need to be able to hear what I'm saying because I can see that my lips are moving, and hopefully you can hear me. Those, it's real. I get it. For people who are struggling to have a faith in God, a God that you cannot see, a God that is not tangible, that you can't call up and say, hey, can I drop by your office and have a cup of coffee with you? Having that relationship with an intangible being is frustrating. And I'm not even going to say it's only frustrating a little bit of the time. To be quite honest, it's frustrating a lot of the time for me. And this is my job, just being honest. I like tangible things. I like to be able to say, empirically, this is the real thing. I can touch it and feel it and play with it, and I can taste it and I can hear it, and I can throw it across the room and go pick it back up. I can kick it out the door and then open the door and say, I'm sorry. All those things. But as I gotten older, the more I realized that the things that I'm gleaning from those things the thing that I get from when I touch something, or I listen to something, I taste something, I feel something, hold something, what's actually happening to me isn't tangible. It's inside me. The feeling I get when I'm walking through the mall and my husband reaches over and takes my hand in his. The physical thing is the tangible thing. Other people can see my husband loves me, or he needs me to hold him steady or something, but that's something other people can witness. It's something that I can feel. But what is it I'm really, really feeling? Not the big thrill is not really the touch of his skin on my skin as he holds my hand. The big thrill is what's happening to my heart and my soul when I realize that I've been in my own little world looking at shoes or purses or books, usually books, as we're walking through the mall. And when he reaches over and touches my hand, it tells my soul, that inner part of me, that he wasn't thinking about books or hockey skates or things like that. He was thinking about me. That he was thinking about me and wanted to hold my hand. It isn't the tangible thing that means the most. It was what happens inside me because of the tangible thing, what it reminds me of, that means the most. And so as I've gotten older and I've gotten used to his deployments and me heading off to House of Bishops or wherever I'm always going, it's helping me to remember that it isn't really about the tangible. It's not really about having that person that I love right there beside me or at the end of the phone speaking to me that I can hear. It's the knowledge and the experience and the carrying with me of that knowledge and experience that I am loved and I have a being to love. That is so important. That invisible presence isn't reliant upon the physical stuff, the visible stuff. The visible stuff is only one of the many ways that I experience that invisible presence. And I think that's what I really would like you to hang on to this weekend. The invisible presence. If you're struggling to understand who God is or have a relationship with God, that's okay. Don't get frustrated with yourself if you can't get there yet. But I do encourage you to be patient with yourself and to be patient with God, because at the right time, you will recognize that you don't necessarily need so much the tangible stuff, because somewhere deep inside you begin to recognize the invisible stuff is there. Before I wrap up for today, I'd like to ask you to pray for a very good person. His name is the Reverend Deacon Tim Moore and his wife Anna. Tim is going to be ordained a priest tomorrow at St. Paul's in McGregor, a little tiny little community, I think it's a village, here in Manitoba. And he will be ordained a priest, and he will become, in a few short weeks, he will become the incumbent or the priest responsible for the church in McGregor and another little church in a little village called Austin. And Tim is a beautiful person. His wife, Anna, is just a generous human being. And tomorrow we will celebrate with them as he is ordained a priest. And it will also be very important because it will be my first ordination. It will be the first time I as a bishop get to ordain a person. And so I ask your prayers for Tim and Anna and for me and for the church as we gather, because we will be inviting Tim to receive an invisible presence within himself that he will then be responsible for sharing with other people. So carry them in your prayers as he proceeds into a brand new ministry for which he is completely ready, but I have a feeling he feels like he's not, as should be the case when we take on a new thing. So please pray for Tim and Anna and the people of McGregor and Austin, and for me as I celebrate this day with him, and for all the clergy who will gather around him in an ordination to the priesthood. All of the priests in the community, in the diocese who are able to come, will come, and when I lay my hands upon his head to ask the Holy Spirit to ordain him, to consecrate him as a priest of the church, all of the other clergy will lay hands on him. I'm going to cry. Will lay hands on him as well, because they have been there, and through them, with me, the Holy Spirit, we're the conduit. The Holy Spirit will land and enter into Tim as he is given the gifts of what it is to be a priest in the church. So I ask your prayers for him as he invites this new form of invisible presence. And I ask that you pray for yourselves and for one another as you all enter into a time of recognizing that place where the invisible presence is already in your life. And maybe like you, as you get older and you continue to ask questions and recognize the glories of the life you are living, you too will recognize the many ways that the invisible presence is there, and you don't really need it to be visible as much anymore. Sometimes it's always good, but not necessarily all the time. Have a wonderful day. God bless you. I will see you again on Sunday for Gospel on the Go for the baptism of the Lord. And I will see you on Monday for Church at Home with Rachel. Have an awesome weekend, everybody.